What is up, you guys? Namicon here, bringing you my perspective as to what entertainment is bringing us. And welcome to a new discussion video. And this time I'll be discussing the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. Now I know I'm 3 months late to this, but timing was not in my favor. But this is an idea that I had 3 months in the making. And fortunately, I am not doing this alone. uh, and I have three other people with me. And I'm beginning, and I'll be introducing Brandon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. It's great to be back on as always, and I'm excited to discuss about the Switch 2. Now that it's been like a few months since it's out, and maybe we can add some more viewpoints to it.
Yeah, and the next person I'll be introducing is FlareFrost. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, just hanging in there with life and all that.
And the last person I'll be introducing is Nico. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to talk about Switch 2, giving my honest opinion.
All right, so we're not so we ideally we could have started with the hardware itself, but like I want to start with the specific software, Mario Kart World. So, as of the making of this video, the game is already out for the past few days. I'm going to assume. A couple of you guys have. All of you guys have played it already, or have none of you guys have played it?
I
I
actually
haven't
played it,
touched it.
actually.
Eugene's the only one. FlareFrost is the only one who's played it.
Oh, okay. So Brandon, Nico, you two have only saw gameplays, right?
I've seen
Only saw
gameplay.
gameplay.
And you, Flare Frost?
I have played it
Okay.
locally. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. So I have played it. Um, it's it's pretty good actually. I'm not. It looks visually it's stunning. Well, it's I would say it's visually from a visual standpoint it looks slightly better than Mario Kart 8. The so and the roster is a downgrade in my eyes compared to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This roster, if you want to compare it to the Wii U version of Mario Kart 8, it's debatable whether that the roster is better. It is Worlds' roster is better, but if you compare Worlds' roster to 8 Deluxe, the final roster, yeah, it's a complete downgrade. And the card selection, uh, also kind of a downgrade as well. Although seeing Rob being a motorcycle is pretty cool, but also another thing, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the transition tracks. Uh, so um, so whenever you pick a track, you always get out of another track, and you go to a transition track, and for like 2 laps, and then for like the final lap, you race around that exact track that you choose. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that. I mean, the costumes they look cool. Yeah, for each of the characters, yeah, they look pretty cool. I have been told that a lot of them came from the mobile game Mario Kart Tour, but not a lot of the characters have alternate costumes, which is pretty lame in my viewpoint. Although,
From what I've gathered about the costumes, it's that
Yes.
it's mostly the human cast that has them. So like obviously Mario, Luigi, Peach, but also the baby characters, Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Baby Peach. So it's
oh
like
damn, that's that's rough.
it's it's just the human cast. None of the enemies have alternate costumes, and it sucks because we could have had such great ideas for as like different enemy variants. Especially with like Bitty Bug because of all the different colors for it.
I mean, there's still DLC if they like
If they
consider
decide,
if they actually do DLC for there's still that.
if they decide to do DLC.
If they do DLC, it better be free updates because buy b- b- being pri- buying a physical copy for $90 should be illegal.
Yeah, especially if it's not,
Honestly,
especially
yeah.
if it's not complete, especially if it's they're planning on adding DLC, which is basically just added content onto it, which could have been in the base game if they put it in the base game if they didn't want to monetize it any further. And as a flagship game, I kind of think they should have added more. Because what I've been hearing online is that the open world roaming aspect is very empty, and there's not a lot to do outside of racing and and the new knockout tour.
So I played a little bit of the open world mode. Yeah, you're right. There is kind of. I've only played like 20 minutes of it. Yeah, there's kind of nothing to do. All due
Yeah.
respect. Oh yeah. Speaking of the baby characters, you know what's absurd to me? I've actually played the whole entire thing. So Baby Rosalina is playable from the start. Rosalina herself
Regular roam.
is on. You have to unlock her.
Yeah, I believe you have to get through all of the cups to get this last cup in order to unlock her. I believe that's how it's done.
Yeah.
I can't confirm that.
No. I can confirm. I've actually played it. Baby Rosalina is available from the start. Rosalina is an unlockable character. How that makes no sense to me whatsoever. I'm sorry, that makes no sense to me. It should be the other way around. Yeah, okay. Um,
This is
but
how I think it should have happened. Here, and this is my opinion. You play through Mario Kart World as itself, then you unlock Rosalina, and then you go unlock Mirror Mode, and then and you do the Mirror Mode, and then you unlock Baby Rosalina. So that's how I think it should have gone.
yeah. Wait, do any of you guys know how to unlock mirror mode? Because I actually don't.
Yes.
I think you
I,
need
I,
to do all the races in 150 to start, and then once you get, once you get first place in all the, and then you
no.
unlock Rainbow Road or something like that.
You
Hang
gotta
on,
complete every.
let me
I'm
look it
looking.
up.
I'm looking it up right now.
Do you know Nico?
You'll need to do the special cup on one. You need to do what? Special cup on 150cc.
Uh huh.
Okay, and I have a collect 10 Peach medallions in free roam. Oh, it's a free roam. It looks like it's immediately free roam.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
No,
Collect
it's
10
free
Peach
roam.
medallions in free roam. Collect 10 P-Switch missions in free roam. Collect 10 question mark panels in free roam. Complete all Grand Prix races cups in 50cc. Complete all
150cc
knockout tour rallies in 150cc. And race it and complete the special cup. After that, mirror mode should unlock.
That sounds like a
You'll have to go up to the princess. You have to go up to Princess Peach's castle in free roam in order to get it.
So basically, for TLDR, basically half of the missions require you have to do missions in free roam, so basically open world. Then you have to complete the Grand Prix cups and knockout tours, and then the special cup.
You have
All
to
in
clear
150.
everything on 150cc, and then you have to go to, and then you have to go to the special cup, and then you can go, and then you'll open up free roam and open up, and then you go down to mirror mode.
I see. I see. Okay, I'll keep that in
See
mind.
ya.
But
Do everything.
I know I'm talking really bad about this game, but it's not a bad game. Far from it. It's really good.
It
There's
doesn't
just
look bad. It's just they could have done better. They could have
yeah,
done more
there's
with it.
yeah there's a lot of questionable choices that such as Kamek being relegated as an item. That kind of grinding my gears
That was a
honestly.
strange choice. I don't
And
know why.
yeah,
Especially when they just made him a playable character.
I don't get it either. And the new items I actually find to be pretty cool. The ice flower is a pretty cool addition. The hammer from the Hammer Brothers, that's also a pretty cool addition. I mean, for what people are saying regarding the new additions to the roster, I actually like the fact that they specializes on the enemies. That's actually really cool. I actually really like that.
I agree.
Yeah, it's and the fact that you can do grind rails. That's kind of yeah. You can grind rails. So basically, Mario Kart World is Mario Kart Pro Skater. That's what this game is, Mario Kart Pro Skater. Because
You
of
know
the
what? I'm surprised. Surprised they didn't add anyone from their newest Mario, the newest game, the Mario and Luigi Brothership. I know it came out like way beforehand, but like I'm surprised they didn't add any like sort of connection to it.
they haven't added any Mario RPG characters at all, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, they haven't.
I mean, yeah, but it's like it's a brand new game. It's a new game in the Mario and Luigi franchise, and it's like I think they would add something to kind of represent the series
If
with
they
their brand new game.
honestly, if they were to add anyone from the Mario and Luigi series, I feel it will be Fluffle.
They would.
Yeah, he will be the main
I can see that.
priority. But otherwise, yeah, Mario Kart World is a very good game. I just think that with the price, with the price they're charging, no, no, no,
Yeah, what
just
do you think?
please.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think $90
I
is
mean,
gonna do for basically an empty game?
that is true. That is true. And also, they didn't really port over a lot of the popular features from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Mario Kart 8
Yeah,
itself. They didn't like because first off, all the cart combinations they you can't like customize your
Yeah,
cart
you can't
anymore
do
as
that.
much.
no, you're stuck with what
Second off,
you're stuck with it.
yeah. Second off, which I am personally glad for. They did not port this over. Is the fact that you can choose which items to like switch to have on. I'm a little glad at that bit because I remember in Mario Kart 8, like we kept getting hammered on like just all blue shells. Imagine that happening in open world in 24-player lobbies.
Oh my god,
Yeah, honestly, that's something I'm glad they didn't port over at the start because, like, oh my god,
they probably do
imagine
that eventually.
there would be literally no escaping anything
Yeah,
at all.
yeah, pretty much.
Also, another thing I'm glad about
Mhm.
Mario Kart World compared to like Mario Kart 8 is the fact that other than grinding rails, you can virtually they did with the whole open world concept. They did live up to the word of you can virtually driving anywhere because they made it so every part of the map you can is always going to lead you to like the finish line in a course. Like you can take you can it's open like how you can drive on it as long as you follow the course. So other than like the transition thing, the transition races like to other maps. But yeah.
Mm, Uh,
I still don't know why they did that. It
Oh yeah,
seems so
no.
bad.
I get
I
why
mean,
they did that, but honestly, like the most unpopular thing I think they've done with that so far is the most recent update to Mario Kart World. The one
I
where
agree.
they basically forced you to do the transition labs if you choose random if you're in a lobby. If you choose random and you try to do like a race, it forces you now to do a transition race no matter what. So it sucks.
yeah, that update
Mhm.
sucks. It really sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that
Like,
probably just ruined Mario Kart World so badly.
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty
and it
much.
was already, and most of the changes were already kind of unpopular. So changing that made it a bit worse.
Yeah, everyone's going back to Mario Kart 8 actually because of that. A lot of people are going back to Mario Kart 8.
Are they really?
No, yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not joking. Like a lot of people switched back to Mario Kart 8
Yeah, yeah.
just because of that.
Mario Kart World just basically pulled a Tekken 8.
To be fair though, everyone is more used to traditional 3 lap courses. They're not exactly used to transition races. Give
Yeah,
transition races the benefit of the doubt. Here
yeah.
on this case, like
Yeah,
everyone's
the
more used to three
transition
lap
thing.
traditional.
Yeah, the transition thing is a brand new thing. It's a brand new concept.
I think it would be a cool concept, and it does work for Knockout Tour. I will say that
for
much.
for knockout tour,
But it doesn't.
definitely, especially for knockout.
It
Yeah.
doesn't really work as much if you keep spamming transition races over and over again. Like I understand like at the start, like because you need to unlock all the maps, like oh there's gonna be like transition races and all that. That's understandable. Like after a while, like if you unlocked everything, and if you're still doing transition races and they're not knockout tour,
Yeah.
it's just
Like
like
what? Like I feel like once you unlock the special cup, you should get the ability to toggle it off, toggle it on and off. Especially but it's like for the main races, the knockout tour.
especially
That's
in lobbies,
fine.
not especially in online play as well. In online play as well,
Especially in lobby.
especially
Both, yeah,
that's
online
what
as well.
pisses a lot of people off the most. I feel in online play,
Mhm.
not being able to like switch off transition races. Because it works again, it works at Knockout Tour, and that's fine. But like, it just doesn't work in just overall online play when you're not playing Knockout Tour.
Or just races in general, or just races in general, even if it's like
Exactly.
offline.
So also another thing, transition races, because of this whole issue, they've basically overshadowed all the actual Mario Kart World mini games as well. Did you know that?
I did not.
No, no, I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
yeah. So this game, just like Mario Kart 8 and other games in the series, and some other games in the series also have mini games in them, but no one plays them because of Knockout Tour and online play, basically.
Speak.
I didn't even know there was mini games until now.
Really?
No, I had no idea.
There's a coin collecting mini game for starters.
Oh yeah. I played a couple of that. Yeah, I played the collect the blue coins in the free roam mode. Yeah. Collect blue coins. Remember that from Mario
Well,
Sunshine? Yeah,
that's
that's
free roam, but I'm talking like in
Oh my!
online play. There's a literal coin collecting mini game you can play, like literally gold coin collecting mini game play, and there's team play as well with it.
Yeah, I had no idea. I've only seen footage of Knockout Tour. This
But yeah,
like
because
the
Knockout
entire
Tour is
time.
really popular. Well, Knockout Tour is, to be fair, Knockout Tour is pretty popular. Honestly,
Hmm.
that is a good addition.
yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Even
Speaking
though
of
it's been
not
totally copied. Like, actually, speaking of Knockout Tour, can I just say, technically, Nintendo copied this from a modder.
yeah,
Technically, this
no.
is
Knockout
way
Tour.
before.
Yeah, knockout mode has been a staple in racing games since Need for Speed Underground 1. Yeah, it's been a
Well,
staple
yeah,
for
yeah,
racing games in a
like
while.
yeah, but like there's this video. Hang on. Maybe I can pull it up. There's this video on. I was watching the short on the other day about for Mario Kart World, and apparently Knockout Tour. There was already Knockout Tour in previous Mario Kart games by a modder actually, and it worked basically the same thing like Knockout Tour right now.
Yeah, even other kart racers had knockout mode. Sonic Transform that had a knockout mode. I'm pretty sure Pac-Man World Rally had a knockout mode, if I could recall. But yeah, other racing games that had knockout mode. The Need for Speed Underground had a knockout mode. Burnout Revenge had a knockout mode. Yeah, Burnout. Pretty sure Burnout 3 had a knockout mode as well. Yeah, it's been a staple for racing games for a long time. Yeah, it makes it all the more surprising that it hasn't been a thing in Mario Kart since now Mario Kart
Yeah,
World.
until now.
That's true.
All right, yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
all.
what do you guys think of the items in Mario Kart World? What do you guys think of them?
The items. They're fun. They look fun. I'm glad the flower the feather has made a thing outside of the battle mode because in the previous in Mario Kart 8 it was only in the no, it was only in the battle mode.
Yeah, I'm glad that's back. That's honestly back, and it's in like the official like races now because those are
Mhm.
I hear those are really fun to use to dodge red shells and everything.
Yeah,
Also, the hammer. They brought the hammers from the Hammer Bros.
the hammers was a good choice.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good choice. That was a good choice. Also, they made it. I love how they made it so they made blue shell dodges a lot easier now compared to Mario Kart 8 with mushrooms now, and how they reworked lightning as well. I do like those. I do like those.
Uh, all right, FlareFrost. How do you feel about Mario Kart World since you've actually played it?
Since I played Mario Kart World, I felt that this game, though, is honestly quite enjoyable. I would agree that that their character roster is it's a huge letdown compared to Mario Kart 7 and we use
Oh
8.
no! Seven's roster's way worse. No,
Seven's
I
I
don't
really
think
roster
disagree on that.
Seven's roster is
so much
way
worse.
worse.
Anyways, I would agree with Nico here, saying that the reason why enemies are getting spotlights is that we're not seeing some various costumes and colors such as the Biddy Bubs, the Goombas, Koopas, even Boo and Penguins too. Drive them off a cliff. Yeah, but the transition is an entirely new concept. I would agree with that. You I would suggest for the newcomers with World here is for with veterans and newcomers is just stick with the whole concept. But I get that the first race is the only thing that have 3 laps. But you know, but give it enough time and you'll get used to it. How yeah, although the knockdown mode is actually really fun, and the CPUs do not let up. I am dead serious.
Yes, dude. The CPUs in 150cc. Yeah, yeah. Get ready, y'all. These are not the CPUs that y'all are used to in other Mario Kart games. These CPUs do
These
not fuck
are
around.
these are
Oh
not
no,
your
I've seen the
average
gameplay footage.
hard
I've seen
mode
the footage.
CPUs that
Yeah.
you're dealing with. These are advanced CPUs.
They remind me of like the 200. They act like they're racing in 200 cc's from what I've seen.
Anything else you want to
Yeah,
say, Claire?
I could say that.
Yeah. Damn.
Given the fact that I've never played 200cc in my Wii U 8 journey, yeah, not with tilt controls, never.
No, honestly, fuck tilt controls. I don't like. I can't stand tilt controls.
I've used to do tilt controls in the Wii days, but ever since I found out that you can play the GameCube, you can use the GameCube on that game. I've avoided that like the plague.
I mean,
Uh,
given the fact that I grew up with Wii, so it stick to my mind until the next transition.
well,
Yeah, you had the Wii. I had ended up getting an Xbox, so I had I was in the somewhat mid to late Xbox 360 era, and then I got a PS4, and I've been
all right,
mostly there.
all right. Anything else, Flair?
Other than that, so the free roam is really it's a really fun mode. I really like the parts. I really like the part where you can actually ride a truck, like a jackass.
Yeah, yeah.
You can ride truck. I hear you can also ride a submarine and a helicopter as well.
Correct.
Yeah, those too.
Um,
All right. So, all right, Brandon, how do you feel about Mario Kart World from the gameplays you've seen?
well, again, I've mainly said a lot about how I felt about it and earlier, but to reiterate, basically, I do think it's a very fun game. It definitely has a lot of potential overall, but there are some things that I do feel that they really let down on. Like for instance, like while they did keep their promise of you can drive virtually anywhere, they've also made it so that in free roam, it's while it does also live up to it, you basically can't really do anything else unless of course like you're just like really try hard racers trying to find all the shortcuts. Also, they did not live up to the whole online play with the whole restriction now being you have to do a transition race now in online play. It's kind of Mario Kart World's kind of lost some of its magic. Like it works for Knockout Tour again, but like transition races, if you're already unlocked all the maps and everything, it's just annoying at that point. So But overall, other than that, it is a very good game, and I would love to play it if I get the chance to.
And you, Nico?
I agree. It's definitely a fun game. It definitely looks a ton of fun. I can't wait to play it whenever I get it. I know I'm not getting it anytime soon, but like it looks so fun. I can't wait to play it. And yeah,
All right, let's move on to one of the Nintendo Switch 2's biggest features, game chat. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not gonna use this feature anytime soon because I have Discord.
you can remap.
Yeah.
You can remap. You've been able to. You're actually able to remap that. So like it's kind of pointless to have.
Yeah. Pretty. Yeah. I have Discord, so this app is pretty much useless. But for
Yeah, it's just like
anyone, but for anyone that doesn't have Discord, or for anyone that is a filthy casual, this is actually pretty good. This is a pretty good feature. I will say that. So yeah, not much to say for me for my part. I'll just pass it off to
Basically,
FlareFrost.
basically, get Discord from home.
Yeah, pretty much. Anything else,
Discord
Nico?
on a button.
Yeah. Anything
yeah,
else?
budget Discord
Yeah, pretty
really.
much. Yeah, I'll pass it off to Flair to give his thoughts on game chat.
Yeah, my turn.
Yep.
All right, so game chat. I don't really care about this feature all that much, to be honest. I know I'm talking negative, though. Negative on the first go because I've used Discord all the time. But on the other hand, it gives only Nintendo, the clueless Nintendo citizens, much more time to talk and express themselves through their voice and camera. But given how Nintendo is setting up these absurd restrictions like every time compared to PS4, the PC and Xbox is it's just wrong. I don't buy it on this whole story.
All right, Brandon.
Again, basically, it's just like a budget Discord. It's and while I do think it's very good if you're just like at home playing, again, Discord can do just the same thing, especially with all the other features in game chat. So I don't really have much to say on that. It's useful if you don't have Discord, but if you have Discord, just use Discord instead.
All right, Nico.
I have the same set of sentiments as Brandon. It's honestly not much to write home about. The camera and I've heard the camera quality is absolutely horrible with the gameplay being only like 480p. So it's like I don't see a point in having it. Like it's there, it's cool. It's like I just don't see a point to it.
Now,
So
if I'm being honest, maybe it's because there's so much memory to run for a specific game that they wanted to keep this as minimum as possible.
maybe.
Yeah, but if I am another thing, why did they have to for the camera specifically? Why you guys charge? Why are they charging it as extra for a piece of hardware? Like, shouldn't that come with the Switch if you're trying to sell that feature as well?
I don't know,
Am
honestly.
I wrong in assuming? Am I wrong for questioning why?
No, you're not wrong. Speaking of something that should have been on built in on the Switch too, the welcome tour. It
Yes,
yeah, it looks like a pretty cool tech demo. Here's the problem.
It's not.
They're
It's
selling
not.
it
It's not. It's like
separately. They're selling it separately. You have to pay for it. I don't know what's the price for this game, but the fact that they're
$10.
selling it separately
it's ten
is
dollars, and it's the
absolutely
hardest game on the
ass
Switch.
backwards. That's ass backwards. I'm sorry. That is so ass backwards. Why
No,
is
Welcome
this
Tour
made?
honestly is like the hardest game and it's $10, and it's the hardest game on the Switch too right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing similar reports from content creators, reporters, etc.
Yeah, the fact that you have to pay for this for a tech demo, that's ass backwards. It is so ass backwards. I hate that. The fact that this is literally 1-2 switch all over again, basically.
Yep.
All right, I'll pass it off to FlareFrost because I got nothing to say.
What are we talking about?
So Nintendo Switch
The
Pro
tech,
Controller.
The Pro
Yeah.
controller.
no, welcome
Pro-
tour. Welcome tour. The tech demo for the game.
The tech demo, well, yeah, I would say that's it's actually a nice. It's actually very welcoming. Don't get me wrong, but it's actually introducing new users how the whole Switch 2 works, despite having the direct. So even though that there's some people who don't see the direct or the announcement, so. I would say that this game works similar to 1-2 Pull, like that demo cow game back at when Switch 1 was released.
You mean 1-2 Switch?
Yeah, 1-2 Switch, yeah.
All right, I'll pass
But nonetheless, pretty solid demo. And take it away, Brandon.
Yeah, again, it's $10 for an intro game is not really worth it. It's stupid. They could have just made this for free. Also, the fact that again they this is like the literal hardest game in the entire Switch 2 franchise, which is surprising. It's just a demo game, yet it somehow is the hardest game. It's just completely stupid. It's not worth it. They should have made this for free, and if they're gonna make it this hard, just make it as a standalone game. Honestly, I mean, I guess I kind of did that, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. A standalone game. You know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Nico.
Yeah, I agree with Brandon. It's weird. It's weird that they're charging $10 for the tech demo. I get that. I get that they wanted to monetize as much as possible, but like, come on, it's your tech demo. Why were you charging for it? Just like it feels wrong on like a fundamental principle. Like, look what they do. Like what they did with the Wii. Like, why couldn't they have done that instead?
Oh, fun fact about
Like,
that. Fun fact about that. It was not supposed to be it was not supposed to be a. It was not supposed to be bundled in. Nintendo originally was not going to bundle Wii Sports, but Reggie at the time was telling them to no. Put that game as a bundle. No one is going to buy that. And so yeah, Reggie was tight lipped on Nintendo for that. And so because of Reggie, Wii Sports was bundled with the
became
Wii.
and it became one of the best, and the Wii ended up becoming one of the best-selling games because of that feature, because of that consoles, because of that. So if they'd done that with the Wii, if they'd done that with this, I think they could have done it could have had similar results.
Pretty much. Oh god. Now we're moving on to Dragon Drive. Not much to say on this one. But I do appreciate the game doesn't seem that appealing to me, but I do appreciate that it is $20. I do like the price. The price makes it a little bit more appealing. I do appreciate that, but otherwise, doesn't seem like a game. Doesn't seem like something I would play for. Doesn't seem like something I would pay attention to. I'll pass it off to Flare.
I'm sorry, what are we talking about?
Dragon Drive.
The new Dragon, like with the mouse curt, you have to use like the mouse feature, the new mouse feature.
The feature for the Joy-Con is honestly they're trying to beat Steam. No, if I am being honest. So, but even though these features are cool and entirely advanced, I just think that it's basically a Steam wannabe. Yeah,
All right, Brandon.
that's all I have to say.
All right, Brandon.
I like the concept and how you can use these Joy-Cons as mouses, considering the versatility of them. And I do think it's a very good concept, but it's kind of like a little Rocket League. It kind of reminds me of Rocket League, to be honest. So
All right, Nico.
Yeah, I have similar things, Brandon. If you it is in concept, it's very good. Like you get to use the thing as like a mouse, so you can like point and click and stuff, and like you can make point and click adventure games with that. But like other than that, I don't see a whole point to a whole game around it. If you understand what I'm saying, like,
Yeah, I
it
understand.
feels weird. It feels weird that they're doing a whole game around it.
Yeah,
On a feature that that most likely won't get utilized.
yeah, I see what you're saying. Now let's move on to the enhancements. So some of the Switch 1 games are getting enhanced for the Switch 2. Games such as Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, Kirby in the Forgotten Land, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Metroid Prime 4, and Pokemon Legends ZA. I mean, some of the enhancements do look cool, like Kirby in the
They're
Forgotten
getting
Land,
they
but
yeah the
otherwise,
new
uh, eh? I mean,
and
the fact that they're charging extra for some of these, like, why? You're
they're
charging the
charging
Switch 2
more for
version
the
of Breath of the Wild for $70? Are
when
you
the original
serious?
game is like 50 or 60.
Are you serious, bro? And no, and you're charging Tears of the Kingdom for $10 extra, despite the fact that the original version has no business being $70.
It,
Absolutely diabolical. It's diabolical. I'm sorry, it's
yeah,
diabolical. I mean, they have confirmed that they do plan to enhance more of their games later, but otherwise, uh, I'm not impressed with some of the enhancements. I'm not impressed. I'll pass it
like
off to
if
FlareFrost.
if they make an addition, they're not even including the DLC for Breath of the Wild into this button to this upscale. It's the base. You have to buy if you're gonna buy the upscale, you have to buy the DLC separately on top of the upscale, which is just it's stupid. It makes no sense. And on top of that, they're not adding DLC to Breath of the Wild. They're not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, which I think this game could use. So because like there's no after you beat Ganon, you get everything. There's nothing to do. Like you have nothing else to do in Hyrule after you beat Ganondorf and his dragon.
Yeah, see what I mean? I'm not impressed with the enhancements. All right, I'll pass it off to
Yeah.
FlareFrost.
Yeah, yeah. The enhancements the enhancements only set minor differences. So one instance is that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has a faster loading screen and faster and enhancements as well. For the other games, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure what happened. Should have just put research into this. But I like the enhancements, nonetheless. It does make you feel like you're playing DS games on a 3DS, which I can take it.
All right, Brandon.
sorry, what were we talking about again? Sorry.
The Nintendo
The
Switch
original
2
the
enhancement.
upscales for the new with the Switch 2 games. This
Enhancements for Switch 2 game. Right. Okay. I do think the quality's better. It definitely does seem the transition speed's a lot smoother in games as well, like Legend of Zelda, for instance. The loading, it's a lot more streamlined. It's a lot quicker. It's the processing is a lot better. I feel like on that regard, the Switch 2 is a definite improvement over the Switch 1 itself.
All right, Nico.
Uh, I agree that the upscale does look good. I'm gonna say that it's not bad. It's just that you're charging extra money for a game that most people have, and also not including any additional content. So like you have to buy the extra thing separately, which is like, hang on, it's like $30.
$30. That's how much the DLC costs.
The expansion pass. $20 for the $20 for the expansion pass. So you get the Master Trials and the Champions Ballad. Like, why are you not including that in the base upscale?
I have no clue, honestly.
It's
That's
I find it's honestly just another decision, and they're not doing anything. I'm glad they're doing stuff with they're giving Kirby a DLC, but like Breath of the Wild and other stuff like that. I'm surprised they're not giving us Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. I'm surprised they're not giving us the extra DLC.
that's such a huge oversight. I'm sorry, that's a
It
huge
is.
oversight. All right.
That's like the only gripe with it. Everything else is like they said is fantastic.
Well, let's move on to talk about the Switch 2 hardware. So one thing that really stood out to me is the stand. The stand for the Switch 2 is a big big improvement over the Switch 1 stand. Which whenever I use it, I get scared that I might break it. But with what the Switch 2 stand looks like, I'm not going to be worried about it because it goes all over the area. I'm glad for that. I like the Joy Cons. I've actually used them. They feel really comfortable. I I like that in the corners it's magnetic. That's pretty cool. Also, and the Switch 2 Pro controller, it feels comfortable. One thing I love about the Switch 2 Pro controller is that it has a headphone jack. That is a for me that's a big deal. That is a huge deal. The fact that it wasn't originally on the Switch 1 Pro controller is pretty baffling to me, but I'm so glad that it's on the Switch 2. That's a big deal for me. But otherwise, that's all for me to say. I'll pass it out to FlareFrost on what he thinks of the Switch 2 hardware.
The Switch 2 hardware, I barely remembered what it looks like. But I would have to take it to Darwin that it's actually it's actually a big improvement than the Switch one. I remember back when it first initially released that it had a painful start because of the TV dock. I know that later versions have fixed this, so because of it, yeah, I'm just not gonna buy it until later models are released. So I got nothing else to say.
All right, Brandon.
Yeah, I'm very glad they addressed many of the factors the Switch itself had. I am glad for the stand. They did fix that a lot. Very glad for that. Also really glad for the Joy Cons. That was a major function of the Switch that they did not really do well in terms of just staying in the Switch itself. So I'm glad they redid that. So it stays in the Switch a lot better. So you can actually play it like a handheld play. It's a lot easier to play it handheld. It's also a lot easier for you to take off because you don't have to like slide it off. You can it's just magnet. Since it's magnet, you can literally just pull it apart. It's a lot more easy. It's a lot easier on the entire Joy-Con itself. So it's a major improvement.
All right, Nico.
Uh, yeah. Playing handheld is so much easier now. Because I remember I've had multiple times where I'm playing like Legend of Zelda or Kirby, and I've accidentally popped off the Joy Cons when I'm playing. It's like, and it pauses the game because it needs to reconnect and stuff. It's like it's very frustrating. That's very frustrating. So I'm glad they fixed that. And it's very. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm just glad they fixed that. I have nothing else really to say about the hardware itself.
All right, so let's move on to the GameCube NSO. That was that was probably one of the hypest announcements on that direct. That was so hype. Uh, the game that they announced that shocked me was Soul Calibur 2. I never thought in a million years that Soul Calibur was gonna be acknowledged ever again after the financial flop that was Soul Calibur 6. I thought Namco was gonna forget about it, and lo and behold, Soul Calibur 2 is one of the first games that they announced for the GameCube NSO. I was so shocked, and I was so happy that they included Soul Calibur 2 on this because that is one of my favorite one of the greatest fighting games ever made. I am so glad that it is now more widely available to the public these days. Yeah, and it's the one with Link. It's the GameCube version. It's yeah, this game is a huge game changer, and I hope to God that revived since Soul Calibur 2 is on the NSO. I hope it revives the scene. I hope it revives the Soul Calibur scene. Honestly, I really hope it does. And F-Zero GX being there, also a huge deal for me because that is F-Zero GX is one of my favorite games of all time, one of the greatest racing games ever made, and I I'm so happy that it is now more widely available. And and now that the and now as of the making of this video, the first Mario Strikers game is now available to play on the NSL, and there's other games coming on the way. So I'll pass it off to FlareFrost to see how he feels about the GameCube NSL.
The GameCube Nintendo Switch Online is definitely something I see coming. I am really I am really pleased uh, pleased that there's some memorable GameCube games such as what Darwin said. Soul Calibur, Mario Strikers, and F Zero GX, which they're honestly really great games to start off with. Now I'm hoping that Nintendo would acknowledge this era a little more and to add in more GameCube games to the Nintendo Switch Online. And I'll be more than happy to play any of the I'll be more than happy to play any of the games when it's a good time.
All right, Brandon.
I am excited for all this. Honestly, all these GameCube games coming onto the Switch now as well. There's some good ones. Super Mario Sunshine, for instance. Mario Strikers as well. The original Luigi's Mansion. Soul Calibur. I'm honestly I'm really excited. I said especially Soul Calibur. Like I'm a big fan of Soul Calibur 2. Like I'm not the franchise itself. I'm just the game itself mainly. Also, F-Zero GX, that is exciting, and I can't wait to play that. So yeah,
Yeah, Nico.
I am I'm actually most excited for whenever I get my hands on it. It's actually Wind Waker. It's a game I've been wanting to play for a huge amount of time, and so having that on the NSL will be a game changer. I've heard good things about Soul Calibur games. I've never played them, so I'm excited for those as well. Yeah, just overall, this was a good addition. I am a little disappointed that it's behind the expansion pass for the online online features. That's like my only gripe with. That's like my only gripe with it.
Oh yeah, that is true. That it's part of the expansion pack. You have to pay extra for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, yeah, I'm glad it's here. It's a long time coming.
Yeah.
And let's talk about
And
some.
I wonder what they're gonna do.
And let's
Do DS or Wii?
uh, we probably might get DS at some point.
It most likely will be DS. I'm hoping we get Wii though, because Wii's one of my favorite. Wii's one of the best selling consoles, and I'm if they haven't done it, then that's just a misplay on their part.
All right. Well, let's move on to some of the third-party games that were announced at the show at the direct. So a couple of the Switch 2 games that are confirmed is Sonic X Shadow Generations, Yakuza Zero Director's Cut, Street Fighter 6 with the Season 1 and 2 characters, Cyberpunk 2077, and the one that I'm very excited about, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. That is one of the hype that I'm incredibly hyped for that game, me personally, because Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, and I cannot wait to play it. Here's the big downside, though. These third-party games do do something called game key cards. And what are the game key cards? What they mean is that you may have the chip, you don't own the game. You only have a digital copy of it. Yeah. That for some of you might say, that's wait, that why is that? That sounds confusing. Yes, it is confusing. It's also a terrible decision. Yeah, a majority of these third-party games have the game key card feature. The only one that I know of that doesn't have that is Cyberpunk 2077, which major props to CD Projekt Red for not going for that approach and going for and developing the game for the Switch 2 and putting it all the game on the chip. That major props to CD Projekt Red for that. But otherwise, yeah, some of the third party games are pretty cool. There are some third party games that I haven't mentioned, but I will talk about some of the third party games that were announced on that direct in great detail, and I'll pass it off to FlareFrost.
About the game chips. This is one of the most confusing parts. Upon first looking, I didn't pay much attention to it, but ever since people started talking about it, I just thought to myself, "Wait, that's illegal." Yeah, and if I am being honest, it's just trying to passing on the game to another Switch, and everyone can get. To my understanding, everyone can have it as long as you have the chip. Which I just don't. I just find this ridiculous. If I'm being honest. Ever, anywho, yeah, I prefer cartridges over gaming chips.
All right, Brandon.
Sorry, I blacked out again. What was it? What were we talking about again?
We're talking about some of the third-party games that were announced at the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct.
I think it's interesting how Nintendo's branching off into these third-party games now, and how we get to see all these new titles now being able to play on the Switch. Deltarune, Borderlands 4, for instance. And I do think it'd be a lot of fun to play it on the Switch too.
All right, Nico.
My only gripe with everything, they look fun. I'm glad we can have the digital key cards are an interesting idea. Yes, it is illegal, and but it also it's not really right, both morally and physical and I don't know legal standpoint. Because like Flair said, there's nothing. There's you have to physically include the game if you're gonna pay for paying customers. Like, and people have been backlashing, and this especially with like in recent events over like the past couple months, where different studios have been saying that you no longer own the games. You can you buy the license to play them, and that's just a lot of people have been putting backlash on that. And it's like with Nintendo's doing the same thing. I'm a bit worried that they're going to receive some of the same backlash that they have been receiving, that other studios have been receiving.
Oh, yeah, it really sucks. Honestly, it really sucks that they're prioritizing game chips for these third party games. So speaking of these third party games, let's talk about one of the biggest announcements on that. Correct, Deltarune. I'm not from. I've not played Deltarune. I've only played Undertale. I really like Undertale. I've not played Deltarune. But I think both games are set in the same universe. I think
They are
Deltarune
not.
is they're not.
They're not set in the same universe.
They're
Uh,
not the same universe.
okay,
They're
good.
they're basically like more like parallel universes.
Okay. That's okay. Then I was lied to then. Okay, so I'll pass it up to FlareFrost, assuming he has played under Deltarune, the new chapters.
I have to be honest here. The longer you stall out on Deltarune, the more spoilers are going to come cascading onto late Undertale fans. And I will have to say it again, even though it's been a month. The sooner you play it, the yeah, it'll be better. But Deltarune chapters 3 and 4, yeah, are two chapters that I've never expected before. Even Toby Fox, even Toby Fox showing up as a jump scare really did just catch me off guard, and I'm just so excited for for people to play Deltarune Chapter 3. It Chapter 3 and 4, they're actually really fun. While Chapter 3 is really fun, the Chapter 4 is actually very serious. And I don't want to go into any deeper than that. I'll just leave it up to your will and time to spend much on Deltarune.
All right, pass it up to Brandon, assuming he has played Deltarune.
I have not played Deltarune, but I am familiar with it because of Undertale. I am familiar with it, and I do think it is a fun game that I would love to play at some point. I know it happens in the parallel universe to Undertale, and I am excited to see what new chapters hold.
All right, and Nico, assuming he has played Deltarune chapters 3 and 4.
I have played chapters 3 and 4, and honestly, really fun. They're both really fun chapters. Toby Fox actually, leading up to the development of release of chapter 3 and 4, Toby Fox actually stated that he was doing 3D animation. So that was one of the characters, one of the major antagonists for Deltarune being 3D animated was a surprise to say the least that I did not expect.
I see.
Like Flair said, chapters 3 and 4 are very fun, and chapter three is actually is a lot more lighthearted. It's more fun. It's goofy. It's basically like if I had to stereotype it, I would give it the stereotype of classic game show vibes. That's all I can say without really getting into spoilers, into too heavy spoilers. And yeah, like
It
chapter
is
4,
it is one catalyst though.
Chapter 4, though, it is lore heavy. It is like really lore heavy. Like you experience a lot throughout the event, throughout your time, throughout the adventure, and it's insane how much lore gets. It's just insane how much lore gets dropped on you at the end, towards throughout the entire adventure. From spoilers, spoilers. This is spoilers, so you might have to cut this. The Roaring Knight being the showing up in chapter 3 to ipping the final the antagonist of chapter 4. It's insane, and also everyone's favorite turtle makes their appearance. Garrison makes his appearance. If you remember him, he was one of the characters from Waterfall and Undertale. He actually helps out Susie and gives her some new attacks for to fight used against the Roaring Knight, and also a new enemy called the Roaring Titan. That's yeah, chapter 4. That's all in chapter 4. So chapter 4 is really lore heavy, and it explains a lot of like what the universe, like what Deltarune's universe is, and like the overall theme and overall theming of both games, because like not both games, just the chapters in general, like, and like how the knights get the Dark Fountains get created.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's move on to another third-party game called the Duskblood. The Duskbloods. So the Duskblood is a brand new IP from 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 a develop from a developer called From Software. They're the guys that made Dark Souls, Elden Ring, and Demon Souls. So the game looks amazing, honestly. Like from a visual standpoint, it looks amazing. The fact that the Switch 2 is a Switch 2 exclusive is actually insane. A Switch 2 From Software game, exclusive game. That is actually that's wild. Um, I'm not a Soulsborne guy, so I'm not too interested in it. But I'll pass it up to FlareFrost. I don't know if he's big on Soulsborne games.
Never in my life. But ever since I've been getting into harder and harder games to figure it out, like Kingdom Hearts 2, I'm gonna give this one a shot. So, if I'm being honest, But anyways, so the closest thing that I would consider going for first is Elden Ring. But I don't really have much thought with the Soulsborne game.
All right, pass off to Brandon, assuming he knows a little bit about the Soulsborne games.
I actually do not know anything about the Soulsborne games. So it does look interesting. I will say that much, and I would like to play it at some point.
All right, pass it up to Nico, assuming he knows a little bit about Soulsborne.
I do. It's not. It's not my cup of tea. I'm going to say that now. And the only reason I know about it is because my brother plays a lot of it, and so I kind of learned it from him, and like how he plays the game, and how he plays it and all that stuff. So it's more like I'm not personally excited for it. I know my brother is. He's a huge fan of this. He's a huge fan of it,
All right.
and he's a huge fan, and yeah, he's excited for it.
Okay. Cool. All right. Pass. All right. The last third-party game we're going to be talking about is Silksong. They literally just
Yeah,
yeah they just casually put that in a sizzle reel. I'm like, huh?
I know it.
Huh? You're gonna casually just put that? Are you implying that this game is going to release this year? I've not played. I have not played Hollow Knight, so I wouldn't know anything
You
about that.
should.
But the fact, yeah, I should play Hollow Knight. But the fact that it's been in development hell for over 5 years. Wait, hold on. Is this
7 years actually.
Yeah, yeah. Is this a direct sequel or is it an expansion pack?
It's a direct
it should
sequel
direct
after
sequel.
after one of the endings, God Home.
Okay, so it is a direct sequel. Okay. So yeah, I was under the assumption that it was an expansion pack, a very big expansion pack, but yeah, the fact that it's taking like over 5 years.
Ow.
Jeez, god damn man, what
Yeah.
what are we doing here? What are we doing here? All right, I'll pass it
Well,
off to
it doesn't.
All right, I'll pass it off to FlareFrost because he has played Hollow Knight.
I have played through Hollow Knight, and so but I would say that after fully completing the game, getting all the achievements, and doing what needs to be done, but I would say that seeing Silksong out of nowhere has set a rude awakening into my soul. Everyone's souls actually, who are just waiting for Silksong
Ow.
Silksong to be over. For the wait to be over, and ever since after the Switch 2 reveal, more and more reveals are coming up monthly. Yeah, which it's like sprinkles of relief that we can actually take. Given the fact that this is after Deltarune's reveal, which I'm already happy with, but seeing Silksong out of nowhere just sets my excitement bar high. Yeah, I will pass the torch to Brandon now.
Assuming he has played Hollow Knight.
I have not had the chance to play Hollow Knight. Actually, I'm a little disappointed to say that, but because I actually have wanted to play Hollow Knight, I just really haven't had time to actually go actually get the game and play it. But it does look interesting. Silksong does look interesting from the direct, and it does seem it would be really fun to play based on the gameplay itself that I've seen.
All right, passing it off to Nico because he also has played Hollow Knight.
Actually, I haven't.
Oh, you
I
haven't?
no, I have not touched the game myself. I'm only excited because I know it's a game I've wanted to try. I just haven't had, again, like Brandon said, I haven't had the time to get it and play it. But I have seen my brother play, and he has, like Adrian, like Flair said, Flair, he's actually completed most of it. He's missing one of the final Colosseums and some of the collectibles.
Yeah, the collectibles are no problem, but the God Home DLC is absolute hell.
I don't think he has that one.
I know,
I don't
but
think
I'm
so.
just adding more intel of what's going on with Hollow Knight.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm excited. I know my brother's excited. It's a game that yeah, like you said, Darwin, it has been in development hell for years, and now that we're finally getting glimpses of it, it feels amazing to be a fan. Also, I'm surprised we haven't talked about the newest game that got announced, Donkey Kong Bonanza.
We were getting that right away.
We're gonna get to that. Okay.
Yeah. The next guy. Now we're getting into the first party games. Now the rest of the first party games, starting with Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. Yeah. For first off, the fact that we're getting a third Hyrule Warriors game is pretty wild. That's wild. That's actually.
This is four. No, we're getting. This is. Is this 3 or 4?
Yeah. No. I'm pretty sure this is the third Hyrule Warriors game. As far as
Yeah, because there's I think it's the third one because there's the original one.
Yeah.
Then there was the second one for Breath of the
Calamity.
Wild. So
Age of Calamity.
Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Yeah, this is 3. Okay.
Yeah, Age of Imprisonment.
I thought there
Yeah.
was.
So
I
I'm
thought
going to.
there were more.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to assume this one is specifically on Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's the
this one is
prequel
specifically.
storyline that happened concurrently. It's basically what happens with Zelda's story, basically in the past after she gets transported there at the beginning of the game.
Basically, we're basically following Zelda. We're basically following Zelda in this case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically this is the whole Zelda side of the story that we didn't get to see in Tears of the Kingdom.
What we saw glimpses of.
Yeah, we saw glimpses of it, but this is like the entire full storyline now.
Okay. Okay. I see. I have not played Tears of the Kingdom, so I wouldn't know.
You really? I'm playing it right now. It's actually a lot of fun. I'm going through the water temple.
Okay. I see. I see. Yeah. I like me some Musu. I played Dynasty Warriors. I played quite a bit of Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U. So yeah, I'll get around to it at some point. I'll probably buy. I'll probably get this one since I like me some Musu. Yeah, so I'll pass it out to FlareFrost.
I never really got much into Legend of Zelda, unfortunately. Yeah, the only time I got into it is Breath of the Wild, and that's a game that I did struggle on, but enjoyed it with. But thanks to several guides like a filthy casual, I get to enjoy it. But I have, I know there's a lot of great things such as Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, the Wind Waker, and all, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. But I never really gotten much into it yeah, I'm on a different road, unlike y'all. So I'll pass it on to Brandon and see what he thinks about Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had to check my mic there. Yeah, I do think that it is a very good game to play. I mean, this one especially is confirmed to be canon, basically Age of Imprisonment, unlike the last game, Age of Calamity, which happens in an alternate timeline to the entire Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom timeline. This is confirmed to be in canon with said timelines, and it's the full story of what happened during the entire imprisoning war. So I'm excited to see how this plays out.
All right, Nico.
Yeah, I'm excited. I I don't really have sentiments on it because I've only seen the trailer once and I never had any real opinions on it. It looks fun. I played the second one. I'm going through Age of Calamity in my spare time when I'm not playing Tears of the Kingdom. And they look fun. I don't really have anything to say on it that hasn't been said already.
All right, let's move on to, in my opinion, one of the hypest announcements on the direct, Kirby Air Riders. Oh my
Yes.
god, dude, oh god,
Oh,
oh
Air
god, oh
Ride was
god,
key.
dude. Okay, I knew it was a Kirby game when I saw the Star Rod. When I saw a little bit of glimpse of the Star Rod, I immediately recognized it was Kirby. And as soon as I saw Kirby riding that Star Rod, I was like, wait, is this actually Air Ride? Is this actually Air Ride? Oh, and until I saw one of those wind turbines, yeah, that really solidified that it is Kirby Air Ride 2. Like the fact that we're getting a sequel to Kirby Air Ride after so long is actually insane, and it's so exciting. What's even more exciting is Masahiro Sakurai is actually directing it. He's directed a Kirby game after I think it was either Air Ride or The Amazing Mirror. Either one of those games. But
I check for you.
yeah, oh my god, dude, I'm so excited for this game. I can't wait to hear more details about this. I'll pass it off to FlareFrost to see how he feels about Kirby Air Riders.
seeing Air Riders after hearing it for more than a year ago, it feels ethereal to let it resurface to let this Kirby racing game resurface to the Switch 2. And it's by the original director. If I am being honest here, I would like to hear what Masahiro Sakurai has to say when directing Kirby Air Riders, because yeah, either he takes credibility that he has played the future Kirby games, or perhaps he just finds a workaround to set a balance between his era with Kirby and the new age with the modern director. Otherwise, it'll be just worst case scenario. It'll be just given the trophy treatment in Super Smash Brothers.
All right, for Brandon, how do you feel about Kirby Air Riders?
Oh, I'm really excited to see this. I was a fan of Kirby Air Ride from the start, and I've played it myself, so I know how fun it is. And I cannot wait to see how Air Riders will turn out to be.
Oh God, yeah. All right, Nico.
First off, for Mr. Sakurai himself, the last Kirby game he developed was Amazing Mirror in 2004.
Okay.
So there's your answer. So there's your answer for that. As for Kirby's Air Riders, I've never played it myself, but I've seen gameplay, and it looks so much fun. And the original Kirby Air Riders looks so much fun. I'm excited to play it when it comes out. If I have a Switch 2 by then, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be Switch 2 exclusive.
Yeah, it's going to be Switch 2 exclusive.
And yeah, so yeah, like I'm going to be excited. We're finally going to get more stuff with like the Dragoon and stuff.
Well, all right. Well, the last thing we're going to talk about is Donkey Kong Bonanza. So when the first trailer came out, I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought it was Banjo Kazooie.
Me too.
Yeah.
Was that Banjo
I don't.
Kazooie?
I think we all.
I don't blame you. The open world makes it feel like it's Banjo Kazooie.
Yeah. So,
We all
I
collectively agreed.
literally as soon as I
We all
saw
collectively.
as soon as I saw DK, dude, I was dude, I was I was so I got so excited. Even as someone who isn't as big of a DK fan as some of my friends, dude, the fact that DK is finally getting a new game after over a decade is incredible. It feels amazing to see that we're finally getting a Donkey Kong game after so long. And after the fact that this is a 3D Donkey Kong game. We haven't had that since DK64. It's it feels so heartwarming. I'm so excited for this game. I'm just as excited for this game as I am with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. It looks so incredible. It looks so amazing. I cannot wait for this game. I really cannot wait for this game. And after seeing the DK Bonanza Direct, I am much more I have not been more excited for a Donkey Kong. I have not been excited for a Donkey Kong game in my whole entire life. And I'll pass it off to FlareFrost.
Looks like someone's tongue has been expanded when talking about it. But Donkey Kong Bonanza, I was in awe with though. I was actually in awe with the open world trailer before the big reveal. As soon as I saw the banana, the big ass banana, out in the open, I was I was picking up the clues of who is it gonna be, and after Donkey Kong was revealed, I was all I have to say is that I am pleased to the long-awaited Donkey Kong fans after Tropical Freeze has been released to Wii U and Switch. That I would, this game can honestly top a few of some of the Donkey Kong games if they are able to pull out this magic. Otherwise, it'll probably be below. It'll probably be below returns, but but above Donkey Kong 3. If I'm being honest, I've never played, so I never played Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, or 3. But I'm just saying it out of prerequisite.
All right, Brandon.
Really excited for this new Donkey Kong game. It's been a while since we actually got one. I do like the new design for DK, and I like how it's open world as well. And it looks a lot of fun to play. Honestly, it basically, if this was like this is like a good return to like DK really at its core is a good way of me saying it. It's just in a brand new way, and I can't wait to see what this game holds.
All right, Nico.
I haven't been a huge. I'm gonna be honest. I have not been a huge fan of DK. He's not my favorite, both in and out of both in his own series and in Smash Bros. It's just he doesn't sit. He doesn't sit with me. But this new game, I'm actually honestly excited to give this new game a try. It looks so much fun. The visuals are stunning. All the different power ups are cool, and honestly, all the Pauline art of with Child Pauline has been honestly adorable and just exciting. I'm excited to see what will happen and like what the story is with her because like in the original Donkey Kong game for the original arcade Donkey Kong, we had adult Pauline. And now that we're going to this one, we're going back to a child. I'm excited. I'm curious to see where this fits on the timeline. Is what I'm getting at.
I have not been paying attention to the timeline. Some people are assuming that this is a prequel to Mario Odyssey, but like
It's but it is confirmed to be by the same studios as Odyssey. So I hope it's a prequel, but I'm probably not.
yeah, it's probably set in like a different time. It's probably in like a completely different universe. That's
It's definitely a different universe. I'm not sure if it's a different timeline.
but
Oh, these are pretty cool bananas.
yeah,
Ah!
yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I hope to God this game sell as well as Mario Odyssey. I'm pretty confident that it will because everyone and their mama knows Donkey Kong. And I feel like Pauline is gonna get. I feel like, and I'm so glad. And I think Cranky Khan, Diddy, and Dixie Khan are gonna be on the same ballpark. Case in point, they just made they Universal Studios just made an expansion for the Donkey Kong ride. Yeah, they know how big of a name Donkey Kong is. So I'm so confident that this game is going to sell like hotcakes, and it'll be one of the biggest reasons why people will buy the Switch too. God, I'm so excited for this game. I have never been this excited for a DK game in my whole life. So that,
Mm.
yeah, that's it. That's it, really. Um, yeah, the Nintendo Switch 2, for all of its faults, is looking like another. It's looking like to be another success for Nintendo. They seems like they've learned their lesson from the failures of the Wii U. So that's it really. So as of the making of this video, Donkey Kong Bonanza should be out in like a couple of days. It should be out in
Let me
like
check.
July 17th, as
Yeah,
far
I'm
as I
checking.
know. Yeah,
Donkey
yeah,
Kong Bonanza releases. It releases soon, I think. Yeah, July 17th,
yep, July
which
17th.
is actually 2 days after my birthday,
Yeah,
so which is gonna be fun.
yeah, and even it's even getting some of my relatives excited. And they're not even big Donkey Kong fans. They're excited for this game. Yeah, I think it's the fact that this is a huge return for DK, and the fact that it's a 3D platformer that gives people a lot of hope that Donkey Kong is back in a big way, and and who knows if the rumors of that DK animated movie is true, that might be a big deal for the DK crew as well. Yeah, I'm just talking more about DK and the potential of its IP because I do feel like Bonanza is only the beginning, only the beginning for the return of the DK crew. Uh, otherwise, otherwise, that'll be it for the discussion video. FlareFrost, where can people find you?
You can find me at Blue Sky, yeah, Fire Ice 2928 at bluesky.social, though with a few with a few missing vowels. So yeah, and so I know I'm on Instagram, but I just refuse to share my handle.
And Nico, where can people find you?
They can find me on. I know I don't post there often, but they can find me on TikTok at the one and only Frog Wizard.
Uh, Brandon does not have any other social media account. Does not have any social media accounts, so I'm not going to promote him.
Yeah, but I'm
And
always happy to be on here. It's always fun just discussing things with everyone.
Same here,
So
but same here.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't talk for 19 minutes.
That's alright. We're sorry. You get kind of distracted. You get kind of overhyped about all this stuff.
Yeah, of course.
I understand.
All right. And as for me, you can find me on Backlog, Letterboxd, and Instagram down in the description down below. This is Namacon. I'll see you all next time.